Okay, so over here is where the avatar machine's regulators are. All you have to do is make sure they're balanced.
What about when the video is running?
That's easy. You sit at this panel and just make sure the machine's doing its job. Sometimes Miku will have cues for avatar changes. All you have to do is scroll through the folders and pull up the correct one. It's really easy.
Okay. That sounds easy enough.
It's really not hard at all.
Can we practice it?
I don't know. I think we actually have to record a video for it to do anything.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Hey, Mini Miku, how's Pocket doing?
Pocket?
I'm not calling that thing Sonic. No way.
Mini Miku is teaching me how to use the avatar machine.
Yeah, but we don't have any way to practice.
Well, I can fix that.
Really? You can?
I've actually had something on the brain for a while that I think would make perfect practice for Pocket here.
What is it? Be cool.
Nothing huge. Just some smaller topics I've been wanting to get off my chest for a while. Mini Miku, you can help him get the hang of transitioning avatars between segments.
You're being surprisingly helpful today. What gives?
What? I can't be helpful?
You and I both know you hate Pocket. Why are you helping us?
Because I'm not about to go into the next big video with him not knowing how to do anything, that's why.
Of course.
So, as you all know, I've had this channel for a little over a year now. I've said a lot of things, and people have said a lot of things back to me. There are a couple topics in this vein that I think deserve their own videos, but today's going to be two big things I've been wanting to address for a while now, along with a couple other tiny things I want to sweep up right away. Call this video a stroke of sudden inspiration, if you will. To start, let's go in with a bang. I kind of want to talk about a little thing I said in my very second video, It's Time to Stop, that became an immediate regret and still hangs over my head to this day.
You just gotta stick it here to stick it here, and it really feels like it's just in this timeline so you can put your favorite game in your timeline while disregarding the fact that this game kills timelines, because nothing in it is consistent with the rest of the franchise. Seriously!
This statement kind of confused a lot of people. I got questions about it from multiple fronts, and it's a statement I've never quite been able to escape from. This was a grand stroke of me being an absolute idiot. No one's perfect, everyone makes mistakes, and this is one of my biggest ones. You see, that video had a really turbid history. It started off as a somewhat aimless rant in 2016, then slowly but surely evolved into the video that actually came out in 2019. There were a lot of bumps along the way though, and I'm pretty sure the video was rewritten a good 4 or 5 times in those 3 years. Unfortunately, that also meant that conclusions I came to in 2016 also made it into the final product, and the Super Mario RPG point was one of those points. See, 2016 me was not nearly as thorough as she should have been. 2016 me was also hot off the heels of making her own Mario timeline and a really shoddy Mario world map. Please don't go looking for either of those things, they are both disowned now. That kind of meant that for a lot of the points in It's Time to Stop, I was working off the conclusions I had come to for my own timeline. Thankfully, I reworked a lot of the points later, especially where the Jumpman segment was concerned, but that didn't mean I didn't gloss over one or two things. When I was making my own timeline, I came to the conviction that Super Mario RPG was highly inconsistent with the rest of my timeline, and I had to put it in a separate universe to make it work with what I had. Unfortunately, I was completely wrong, and this was brought to my attention way later. Honestly, I should have absolutely canned this point when I had the chance. The most inconsistency Super Mario RPG has is mostly map-based, and literally any Mario game with a map has that problem, so it's no more a slight against Super Mario RPG than it would be against the Mario and Luigi games or even Super Mario Odyssey. On top of that, the whole "the characters never show up again" point was also ridiculously stupid, and I should have never made it, because every single Mario RPG bar their own self-references has that problem. In fact, speaking of the other Mario RPGs, Geno is actually directly referenced by his likeness being used in Superstar Saga, so that's one more point on the chalkboard for Super Mario RPG. Thusly, the only conclusion to make is that that point was extremely hastily made and extremely terribly incorrect. Super Mario RPG is not the timeline killer. I unwittingly used the fact that it didn't line up with my own timeline to project onto canon, and that was very wrong of me. To this day, I am utterly ashamed of that point. I hope you can forgive me for that massive oversight. Now that the Super Mario RPG apology is out of the way, I want to address a few more little things before we get into the other meaty section of this video. The one that I know you all came here for. First off, the Blame It on Jorge video. The original's gone. Been gone before I even uploaded. Then, after that, the re-upload I linked to also disappeared. I ended up getting a lot of questions about that before someone finally swooped in and cleared up that Jorge had privated the video. That kind of brings me to the point of, well, I don't know the people I cover personally. I'm not subscribed to them, I don't regularly follow their content in most instances, and I don't keep up with most of them after I make videos on them. Especially where one-off instances like Blame It on Jorge, Tetrabit Gaming, and VGTI are concerned. Heck, some channels like The Gamer and Dr. Wiley I only really look back into when I need material. It happens. The only channel I really even kind of keep up with the dealings of is Game Theory, and even then I miss a whole heck of a lot with old MatPat. Speaking of needing material, cough cough, the next point, suggestions are suggestions, not guarantees. On top of that, I cover Mario theories and Sonic theories. I'm not interested in covering Minecraft theories, or Kirby theories, or even more Undertale theories. I may find one I feel things about and cover on the side, but I don't take suggestions for those. My channel is Mario and Sonic focused. Furthermore, if you make a suggestion, there's no guarantee it'll be covered. I cover what I feel inspired to cover, nothing less. That's just how this goes. Also, I recently received criticism for not covering videos that are, quote, relevant. Specifically, the criticism in question was trying to get on my case for covering old videos. Now, me and this person talked it out and we're cool now, but I want to stress to my entire audience that the age of a video and whether or not the person that made the video still stands behind it are not factors I consider when choosing videos to cover. I cover videos I find fault with, no matter what they are. When I cover videos of significant age or videos that have been disowned, I do so talking to the video itself, not to the creator. When I use the creator's name in that context, it's to address the assumed past mindset of the creator. It's essentially me talking to a cardboard cutout of a creator and not the actual creator themselves. For a good example of that, see Robotic Rebuttal Bad Future, where I talk extensively to a past version of Sega Scourge, even acknowledging in the intro that the present him no longer stands behind the theory. I don't always have the luxury of knowing this, though, and if MatPat's taught me anything, it's to never assume that just because a video's old, the creator doesn't stand behind it anymore. MatPat will hold Mario as mental up as his magnum opus until the day he dies, I swear. My point, though, is that I talk to theories first and foremost. I talk to thought processes and faulty logic. Only if I'm deathly specific am I ever talking to a creator themselves, and that is incredibly, extremely rare. This brings me perfectly to the great big headliner topic for this video. I have been accused by a good number of people by this point of hating MatPat. Let me set the record straight, right here, right now. I do not hate MatPat, and I do not hate game theory. MatPat is not a bad person. MatPat is a man with a YouTube channel trying to make a living for his family. MatPat is a man that loves talking about video games. Those things are not bad. In fact, there have been several occasions where I've sympathized with MatPat, like the Pope backlash and when his conglomerate screwed him over. MatPat has a good heart, and I can absolutely tell he's not a bad person. But, and that but would be bolded in big capital letters, there is a very distinct difference between hating a person and disliking their work. Let me give an example. I have a friend. I won't name names, but he knows who he is. He and I disagree on Mario lore constantly, to the point that we've gotten into hours-long arguments over the pettiest of things. This person, though, is still my friend. I enjoy talking to him, and we still get along. Our disagreements don't get in the way of our friendship. Now, MatPat and I aren't friends, but the point is that I can disagree with MatPat, call him out on his crap, and walk away not hating him. What I'm doing is essentially debate, which at its purest essence is presenting an argument. It's not meant to stir controversy or to make anyone hate anyone else. All it's meant to do is present points. Now, some might say I've both made some really harsh points toward MatPat, like in the Mario's Mental video and the Sonic CD time travel video, and that I've fired my fair share of potshots at MatPat, like, well, in the Sonic CD time travel video. I was really harsh in last month's video for some reason. There are two very important things about my videos to keep in mind, though. The most important one is that in my videos, I play up a persona. I want my videos to be entertaining, so I throw in jokes. When I throw out something like eat a rock or go visit the sun, it's always purely in jest, and I always try to make it as ridiculous as possible so that you know it's a joke. I get that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but at that point it comes down to the fact that this is my channel and I can do what I want. I don't say what I do to try to incite hatred toward anyone. That's not my intention. The second thing to keep in mind is that, again, my videos are debates. They're meant to get to the roots of why points are flawed. Sometimes the hard truth is that MatPat's points are flawed because he himself does not give enough consideration to what he's saying, he didn't do his research, or he intentionally left out information to make his theory seem stronger, a la the point in the Mario is Mental video. I keep coming back to the final point I made in the Mario is Mental video because it was that point in particular that seemed to ruffle a lot of people's feathers. On the surface, I can see why. It was a heated point that seemed to direct itself straight at MatPat's character. A lot of the things I said in that point were extremely harsh. What I want to put on the record, though, is this.
I really don't want to project this onto MatPat as a person. I want to think the best of people, and MatPat is no exception. If these are the practices he finds acceptable, though, he really needs to rethink some things. I want to see MatPat change. If he was honest about his theories, he could make something really amazing. I've seen what a good game theory looks like. I've seen his Super Mario Maker video, his video on which Mario character would win the Olympics, and heck, I even have a soft spot for the Bowser's Broken Home video and the video where MatPat speculates on why the people of New Donk City are so freaking huge. This is even just taking his Mario videos into consideration.
Wow, golly, it's almost like I straight up said that I don't want to think badly of MatPat. I never want to believe that anyone could be a bad person. More than anything, I want to believe that MatPat isn't trying to be intellectually dishonest and that he wants to make entertaining videos, and nothing else. What I was arguing, though, is that the game theory moniker in those instances is dishonest and he should change his practices in order to avoid people taking his word as fact and coming away with incorrect information. I was as harsh on him as I was because his practices are spreading misinformation like wildfire, and it's one of the worst possible practices to undertake when creating a theory. Most people forget that the rant I did at the beginning of the Gaster video exists. That or most people didn't watch the Gaster video, which, I mean, fair, totally fair. What I said in the Gaster video, though, essentially sums up my purest feelings about the entire situation with MatPat. There are some things I said in that rant, though, that looking back were a bit hasty to say on my part.
Now, I don't support harassment, I don't support insulting people for no reason, and I don't support vicious mocking. Yes, you can make pot shots as long as you focus on their points and not their person.
Some might try to tell me that this statement is hypocritical, and at first glance it sure does seem that way, but in reality it was my phrasing of this point that was the problem. My pot shots, at the end of the day, are jokes, and they're not meant to be taken seriously. I don't actually want MatPat to trip on a landmine, that'd be horrible. I think what I was trying to say here was that there's a fine line between joking and being malicious. That's a line I always try my absolute hardest not to cross because I don't want to come off as that kind of person. I try to make it incredibly clear that my potshots are jokes and that all I'm focused on at the end of the day is the theory, not the person behind the theory. MatPat just gets a bit of special treatment because his entire persona revolves around his theories, thus it becomes important to dissect his persona from his person. Everyone on YouTube has a persona. It's essentially the character they put on for their videos. MatPat's persona is the smug theory crafter, and my persona is the oft-irritated debater. That's something a lot of people forget. Personas are characters. That essentially makes 3 layers to any video I cover. The theory, the persona presenting the theory, and the person that made the theory. Rarely do my remarks go past the persona. In fact, I can tell you right now that I've only addressed MatPat as a person in my debunks twice. And that's in this rant in the Gaster video, and in the clip I showed from the Mario's Mental video, specifically the part about not wanting to believe MatPat would be intentionally dishonest. The claims about dishonesty are directed at MatPat's persona, not at his person. In the end, it's very much a MatPat problem, but which MatPat we're talking about is the important part.
In all seriousness, though, it doesn't matter whether you think it's canon or not. At the end of the day, you can't take circumstantial bits and pieces and present them like it's an actual theory. Yes, you can say, look at this cool stuff I found, but the way you presented this theory made it sound like this should be the way people look at this evidence, and like it or not, someone's gonna take that at face value.
This statement was more meant to segue into the next bit, but I want to take these words at face value right fast. You can't take circumstantial bits and pieces and present them like it's an actual theory. This was a hasty statement on my part. Really, a lot of theories are made of circumstantial bits and pieces, and I really should have been clearer with what I was talking about.
Theories made with circumstantial evidence are okay. Theories made with only circumstantial evidence that flies in the face of logic or reason are not okay, and that's really the point I should have gone for the throat on. The main problem with the Sans' nest theory was not that its evidence was circumstantial. The main problem with the Sans' nest theory is that there were far more reasonable explanations for its extreme unfounded logic that made MatPat's assumptions seem like they were reaching all the way to the moon. That was the problem. Death of the artist is a fitting metaphor to use here. Whether you agree with the philosophy or not, it's important to recognize that this kind of thinking exists. To put it simply, the intentions of the creator do not matter. Only the way that the audience views the creator's work matters. That's why the way that you present your work matters so much. If you present a theory that's not supposed to be taken seriously as if it is supposed to be taken seriously, then your audience is going to take it seriously even if that wasn't your intention. This point was extremely overgeneralized on my part, and I kind of hate listening to it now. Clarification, I do not actually support the ideology of death of the artist. I personally think death of the artist is a shoddy excuse for people to think whatever they want of a person's work without regarding their intentions. Like it or not, intentions exist, and they're an integral part of the way we should view a creator's work. But there's a point where you have to step back and view the work objectively in its own light. When an outside viewer watches MatPat's content, what are they going to see? What are they going to think? It's comparable to drawing a picture of a pair sitting on a table and calling it a grand metaphor for the state of the world. All the casual viewer's gonna see when they look at that picture is a pair on a table, unless there's a dude writhing on the floor in the background. When you make a video, you have to consider the viewer that'll enter, watch one video, and start forming their judgments from there. That's why I'm always very careful to include my disclaimer in every one of my debunk videos. Yeah, remember my disclaimer? The one that goes, Disclaimer. This video exists for the purposes of entertainment, education, and theory rebuttal. This video is not an attack on the creator of the theory, nor will it, unless otherwise stated, address the theory creator personally. Instead, the creator's name in this video will be used as either a name to address the theory by, or to address the assumed mindset of the creator at the time of this video's creation. Unless there is substantial evidence, it is not assumed the creator still stands behind the video in question. If you harass or witch hunt anyone involved with this video, I will personally disown you. Thank you. Or the special MatPat disclaimer that adds, furthermore, considering the subject of this video is game theory, I want to make it clear that this video is not an attack on MatPat as a person outside of his chosen YouTube profession. I only wish to show the flaws in his theories and practices while creating theories. Unless there is substantial evidence, it is not assumed MatPat still stands behind the video in question, and when addressing older videos, I do so in a vacuum, speaking only to MatPat's assumed mindset at the time of the video's creation. I didn't make those things to be white noise. I meant for them to be the first thing a viewer of my videos will see before every debunk so they know what my intentions are going in. If you don't tell people your intentions, they're never going to know your intentions. You can't just say it in one video off to the side and expect everyone to know it. Speaking of my disclaimer, why does no one ever listen to it? Seriously, I say right there that my videos aren't meant to attack MatPat as a person. Why does no one pay attention to that? Anyway, at the end of the day, I argue theories. I argue smug personas. I don't come here to hate people or be vindictive. I do what I do to have fun and debate bad theories. That's all.
What? Miku is really good at talking.
Don't flatter her too much now.
Miku, that was...
Quit complimenting me or the theory bunker's gonna shut down.
What? Why would it shut down?
Because that's just how it works.
Like your friends compliment you all the time, right?
Yeah, but once you're inside the bunker, all bets are off. Apparently the bunker hates her or something.
That's confusing.
Quite. Well, I think Pocket's gonna be ready for Friday, aren't you, Pocket?
I will do my very best for you, Miku.
Yeah, here's hoping.